What if I told you that some of America's most transformative moments were shaped by men who weren't even considered full citizens when they were born? Throughout American history, Black men have fundamentally altered the course of this nation, often while facing insurmountable odds and systemic oppression. Their contributions span every field imaginable, from science and politics to culture and human rights. Today, we're exploring the Black men who made the highest impact on America, and their stories will absolutely amaze you. Let's start with the foundation builders, the men who laid the groundwork for everything that followed. Frederick Douglass stands as perhaps the most powerful voice of the 19th century. Born into slavery around 1818, he escaped bondage and became one of America's greatest orators and writers. His autobiography shocked the nation, proving that enslaved people possessed brilliant minds and deserved freedom. Douglass didn't just speak about abolition, he embodied the possibility of human transformation. He advised President Lincoln during the Civil War and fundamentally changed how Americans viewed slavery and human dignity. But Douglass wasn't alone in challenging the intellectual assumptions of his era. Benjamin Banneker, born in 1731, was a self-taught mathematician, astronomer, and surveyor who helped design Washington, D.C. When Thomas Jefferson questioned the intellectual capacity of Black people, Banneker sent him a handwritten almanac filled with complex astronomical calculations. This single act challenged the racial pseudoscience of the time and proved that genius knows no color. Moving into the 20th century, we encounter men who revolutionized entire fields. George Washington Carver transformed American agriculture and saved the South's economy. Working with peanuts, sweet potatoes, and soybeans, he developed over 300 products and taught farmers crop rotation techniques that restored soil fertility. His innovations prevented economic collapse in the post-Civil War South and established him as one of America's greatest scientists. Charles Drew made contributions that literally save lives every day. His research into blood plasma and storage techniques created the foundation for modern blood banks. During World War II, his innovations saved countless Allied soldiers. Tragically, the segregated medical system of his time meant that Drew himself might have been refused treatment at hospitals that used his life-saving techniques. The legal landscape of America was forever changed by Thurgood Marshall. As a lawyer, he argued 32 cases before the Supreme Court and won 29 of them, including the landmark Brown versus Board of Education case in 1954 that ended legal segregation in schools. Later, as the first Black Supreme Court justice, Marshall continued dismantling institutional racism through the judicial system. His legal strategies created the framework for the entire civil rights movement. Speaking of the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King Jr. emerged as its moral center. His philosophy of nonviolent resistance, inspired by Gandhi, transformed how Americans understood protest and social change. The March on Washington in 1963, where King delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech, remains one of the most pivotal moments in American history. King didn't just dream of equality, he created a roadmap for achieving it that influenced liberation movements worldwide. Malcolm X offered a different but equally powerful vision. While King preached integration, Malcolm advocated for Black pride, self-determination, and human rights. His intellectual evolution, particularly after his pilgrimage to Mecca, showed Americans that Black liberation could take many forms. His autobiography remains one of the most influential books ever written, inspiring generations of activists and thinkers. John Lewis embodied the courage required for social change. As a young man, he led the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee and was brutally beaten on the Edmund Pettus Bridge during Bloody Sunday in 1965. That image of Lewis being struck down while peacefully marching for voting rights galvanized the nation and led directly to the Voting Rights Act. He later served in Congress for over 3 decades, continuing his fight for justice until his death in 2020. In the intellectual realm, W.E.B. Du Bois stands as one of America's most brilliant minds. The first Black person to earn a Ph.D. from Harvard, Du Bois conducted groundbreaking sociological research and co-founded the NAACP. His concept of the talented tenth and his writings on double consciousness fundamentally shaped how America understands race and identity. His scholarship proved that rigorous academic research could be a powerful weapon against racism. The cultural impact of Black men on America cannot be overstated. Louis Armstrong didn't just play music, he created America's first truly original art form. Jazz became the soundtrack of the 20th century, and Armstrong's innovations in improvisation and musical expression influenced every genre that followed. His joyful performances also helped humanize Black people to white audiences during the Jim Crow era. Langston Hughes captured the soul of Black America in his poetry and writings during the Harlem Renaissance. His works celebrated Black culture while critiquing American racism. Hughes showed that Black experiences were worthy of serious artistic treatment and helped establish African American literature as a vital part of American culture. James Baldwin took this literary tradition even further. His novels and essays about race, sexuality, and American identity remain incredibly relevant today. Baldwin's ability to articulate the psychological impact of racism helped white Americans understand the true cost of segregation and discrimination. His works continue influencing writers and activists worldwide. The world of sports provided another avenue for breaking barriers. Muhammad Ali transcended boxing to become a global symbol of courage and principle. His refusal to fight in the Vietnam War cost him his prime athletic years, but established him as a moral leader. Ali showed that athletes could use their platforms for social justice, paving the way for modern athlete activism. In more recent times, Barack Obama's presidency from 2009 to 2017 represented a historic breakthrough. As America's first Black president, Obama's election proved that the highest office in the land was achievable for African Americans. His presidency inspired millions worldwide and demonstrated that America could elect leaders based on merit rather than race. Colin Powell broke barriers in military and diplomatic service. As chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and later Secretary of State, Powell reached the highest levels of American government. His military leadership during the Gulf War and his diplomatic service showed that Black Americans could excel in national security roles. The cultural influence extends to music legends like Michael Jackson, Prince, James Brown, and Marvin Gaye, who didn't just entertain but shaped global culture. The Motown sound created by artists like The Temptations, The Supremes, and Stevie Wonder became America's musical ambassador to the world. These artists proved that Black creativity could achieve unprecedented commercial and artistic success. Modern figures like LeBron James continue this tradition of using platform for social good. Through his educational initiatives and activism, James shows how contemporary Black leaders can create lasting change beyond their primary fields. From Frederick Douglass to Barack Obama, from George Washington Carver to Colin Powell, these men didn't just succeed despite the barriers they faced. They transformed those barriers into stepping stones that lifted up entire communities and changed America forever. Their legacies remind us that greatness emerges from all backgrounds and that America's strength has always come from embracing the contributions of all its people. These men didn't just impact America, they helped create the America we know today.